Hey everybody, it's Raven, and I want to do a little bit of a different video today. We might end up doing a reading, but I had some questions and I wanted to go ahead and answer them. Someone had posted a question about the interview with Charlie Kirk that I did with Bobbie at Bobbie Reads Tarot, and shout out to her. And they questioned the Catholic Church question. So for those that didn't see it, Bobbie had asked Charlie, because I was channeling, if there was a connection with the Catholic Church. And immediately I heard him say no, like adamantly no. And one thing I want to clarify is that those answers are from him and where he's at. I don't believe he has gone into whatever final light or final destination on that side. So his visibility of everything is not necessarily there. I believe he answered that from the perspective of what he wanted to believe. But the thing is, the interview was with him. So I answered it based on his answers. Not because I believed it was true, not because it came from me. And so keep in mind when people are channeling, they're providing information based on what they're given. Do I think there's a connection with the Catholic Church? Yeah, I kind of do. In fact, we should read on that because I do think there is a connection. You know what? Let's just do that. Is there a connection with the Catholic Church and the E-ring and all the stuff associated with that? Is there association with the Catholic Church and the E-ring? Nothing's falling out. I do much prefer flyers over pulling cards. Is there a connection with the Catholic Church? We're going to just let those fall. Is there a connection with the Catholic Church and the ring of trafficking that is center news, right in the center of the news? Wow, now that's too many. That is way too many. Okay, they're telling me to take these. Were there any other? No, they're telling me to take those. Oh, I'm feeling really sick. Okay, I'm going to go with what we have because I'm just going to read these. Oh, okay. Meeting. Yes, there were meetings. There were meetings between those in the ring and those with the church. Perversion, party, and what I got in organized crime. It was organized. It was connected. Okay, it was connected. And what I got when this card fell out was what these children were told was, card is love. What they were told is, God loves you. God loves you and wants you to do this to prove your love for him. That's what I got when I said I started feeling sick. So I'm going to go with that. That is pretty straightforward. Yes, there was a connection. There is a connection. Maybe I could look a little further and ask, what is the connection? Like, how did it? I did see something where someone said that, I don't know if it was an opinion. Someone said that the E-ring probably supplied boys to the church. That didn't hit me as solid as capitalizing on already having like children present, altar boys, that sort of thing. And this is not disparaging the parts of the Catholic Church that are amazing. Okay. I'm sure there's some really great bishops out there and priests. And in fact, there is a bishop I reached out to ask a question about a walk I did through a former seminary. And he was very kind in responding and helping me understand what I saw and picked up. So there are some amazing people in that space. Okay, I want to say that. But were there some that were subversive? Yes, and that's what we're talking about. Okay. Spirit, can we know what happened? We don't need details, but from the, just the, I see the meeting. So they met, had discussions about partying that was perverted, and it was all organized. Is there anything else about that? It was all underground. That's what I just heard. It was all underground, sometimes literally, but also metaphorically. Was there anything else? Okay, nothing's falling out. I think we got our answer. I kind of want to put this one to bed. No pun intended. So that's a good example of when you're channeling. You're channeling that information, right? So it's coming just from that soul. It doesn't mean that there was research done. It doesn't mean that they have access to everything on the other side, which also in that interview came out, right? Because there were some more kind of esoteric questions that he did not have access to. And I kind of interjected and said, yeah, my guides are saying he doesn't have access to that. So I wanted to clarify that, and that there's a difference between a channeler channeling the answer from someone else and it being their answer. It's not our answer. And the other thing with channeling, I kind of wanted to bring up, and I've heard other channelers say this on their YouTube channel, and remind folks that when we channel, we don't remember. Now, someone might, I'm not speaking for every single channeler out there, but we don't remember. I had to go back and watch that video, that interview, to know what I said. And that's when it caught my attention on that one question with the church, because it hit me that somebody might, if something comes out later, somebody's going to go, oh, well, that was wrong. She was, she didn't know what she's talking about. It didn't come from me. And I'm always more than open to be wrong. And the thing is, psychics are wrong. Mediums are wrong. We're not allowed to know everything. And sometimes we're just blocked. We can only read so much. If the energy is available and we can read it, great, we do. But if it's not available, there's not much we can do. In fact, I had a situation earlier today where I was talking to someone, and they said to me, you've consistently said that you can't read the intention of this person for a long time. And I didn't remember that. I'm like, oh, did I? Is that a pattern? Because again, I'm just reading energy. It's going through me, not from me. And they said, yeah. And then it occurred to me, I'm like, well, then this person is either really good at protecting their energy, or they're just kind of really shut down, be trauma, childhood issues, and it's not public energy. And this is just a term I use to help people understand what we can and can't do, because I've also had people, minimal, that think if you're a psychic, you can be someone's handbook for life. What is this person thinking? When are they going to call me? No, it doesn't work that way. Reading energy also requires interpretation. And I'll tell you, as a reader, that's the hardest thing in the beginning. And so all I can do is read the public energy, right? If I'm talking to you one-on-one and you're open and you're coming to me, you're open, right? That's different, right? That is channeling things very direct from you. I'm picking up things. But if you're asking me about somebody else who did not give me permission to read them, all I can do is look at the energy between you two. It's public, meaning it's out in the open, or the energy around that person that they're putting out into the world. And so look at it differently, like this. If you walk into a nightclub and there's a bunch of dancing, right, all that movement, that's a lot of energy that's being freely put out there, right? The movement, the talking, the everything. And a lot of energy vampires will take advantage of that, but it's out there publicly, right? No one's invading that personal space energy, that internal energy, right? They're leveraging what's being put out there. So I do the same thing as a reader. I can only read what is put out there. I have had people come and sit at my table that just weren't open. And I'm like, why are you here? I can't read the inside of a rock if the rock doesn't want to open up and show me its geode inside. I can't. Maybe other people have different skill sets, and they might. But I just wanted to kind of give a quick summary of readers, what we can do. And again, I'm not speaking for everybody, I'm speaking for me, right? I did a mediumship reading this past Friday, and 3 people came through for this one person, and it was amazing. And it's the first time I've had that many people come in one session, and it was phenomenal, right? It was just, I enjoyed it. They enjoyed it. It was great. But again, it's because people, those on the other side, were willing to come forward and work with me and leverage what I could do for them and, the person, their loved one, who was, on the other end, on the other side of my table. So the other thing is, I can't channel someone who doesn't want to work with me, and that's okay. I had someone ask me if I could look into, I think it was Ivana Trump, and I did a video on this. And I said in that video, she didn't come forward. She might not like my energy. She might even see me. There's a lot of mediums out there, and someone who might be better suited. Fantastic. And I hope I've kind of been a lookout to see if any other mediums on YouTube have been channeling her, because I'd love to see it. I work for them. They do not work for me. And I would like to believe that all mediums feel that way. But again, I can only speak for myself. So I just wanted to kind of put that out there and set the record straight just a little bit, especially on that one interview, because I picked up on it and thought, oh, others are going to think that that is a literal statement coming from the other side that is 100% in truth. And what I felt in that moment, because I remember going back to it and feeling it, and what I felt in that moment was that was his personal belief. So thank you for that. The only other thing I wanted to kind of touch on is what to look for in a reader. We all work differently. So understand how that reader works. You can ask them, how do you work? I typically try, when I first sit down with somebody, to go, here's how I work, and explain it. I had someone sit at my table once who just sat and stared at me. And I said, well, what would you like to focus on? And they just didn't say a word, they stared at me. And I'm getting a little bit uncomfortable. I'm like, well, not really super uncomfortable, just kind of like not sure what's happening here. And I said, I work better if I can have something to focus on. And he said, well, I went to a psychic in California, and I didn't have to say a word. She just started talking and knew all sorts of stuff. Well, do I look like her? Because guess what? I'm not. We all work differently. And I did say to him, I said, well, I'm not her. And I don't work like her, and she didn't work like me, because we're unique individuals. So understand what they can and can't do. And that's going to be different for each one. Some people have a more open connection with the mediumship. Some people are really great at cards and don't go into mediumship, right? We all have different skill sets and different ways that we do things. And 2 readers on the same subject could get different information. And it doesn't mean either one doesn't know what they're doing. It means that we have different guides, right? Channeling information as to how we understand it so we can present it. It means that we interpret differently. It's why you'll see some readers say, hey, if you've got a different interpretation for this card, I'd love to hear it in the comments. And that's why, because I did that in a recent video, the Channeling Chelsea video, where I had 3 cards that didn't quite make sense to me. And I actually was putting it out there for anyone else who had a hit as I was reading. What did they think? And I had a comment that made perfect sense to me. I'm like, oh, because I was so focused on Chelsea's story that I wasn't branching into this other part of, what this person said in their comments. I'm like, oh, okay. Yep. I was a little tunnel visioned. It can happen. So I just wanted to convey that, and just know that we are not handbooks. We cannot tell you 100% what somebody's thinking. We will not be right 100% of the time. There are things that we are blocked from knowing, because sometimes it's timing. Sometimes you have to go through it yourself without anything, tunnel visioning you. making you make different decisions because you heard this example from us. I don't give examples a lot either for that reason, because I don't want people getting tunnel visioned on, oh, this is what's going to happen. No, it could come in any form. Just know that this event is going to happen. So anyway, I offer that. I hope it's helpful, and I hope everyone is having a great weekend. It's Sunday, March 1st. This is for entertainment purposes only, and everything's alleged. Even the reading part, the connection to the church, that's all alleged. Okay? So have a great weekend, and I will see you soon.